Good morning. Oh, I think we need to do that a little better. Good morning. I realize we probably lost sleep last night, some of us, and I looked around and I see several people that I know were supposed to be here this morning, and I bet they're still sleeping. So anyway, we're thrilled that you're here. My name is Craig Darling. I'm a member of this congregation, and it's always good to be here. My pronouns are he, him, and Z. So, we light this chalice this morning not only as a symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith, but also as a beacon of hope in a world often shrouded in darkness. We gather today seeking solace, seeking connection and inspiration through understanding and respect for each other in all of our magnificent diversity of ideas, talents, and imaginings. Let the worship begin.
We're going to do our land acknowledgement now and light that candle. Con espíritu de reverencia, reconocemos que nos juntamos esta mañana en la tierra de los Kumeyaay, quienes continúan viviendo en todo su territorio. Al emprender este viaje juntos, mantengamos en nuestros corazones y mentes al pueblo Kumeyaay. In a spirit of reverence, we acknowledge that we gather this morning on the land of the Kumeyaay, who continue to live throughout their territories. May the light of this candle shine for our commitment to the Kumeyaay people and to justice and equity for Indigenous people everywhere.
Please rise and body your spirit for our hymn, number 34, To I May Speak with Greatest Fire.
This morning, we're continuing with the new welcome words. These words have a role for you as the gathered community as we come to the call and response in the second half of our welcome. Please follow along in the words on the screen. Good morning and welcome to First Unitarian Universalist Church of San Diego, where we worship each Sunday in the South Bay, in Hillcrest, and online. Our mission is to create community, nurture spiritual growth, and act on our values to help heal the world. My name is Isaac Castro. I use the pronouns he, him, el. I am a member of this congregation, and I'm on the path towards ordination as a Unitarian Universalist minister. Thank you. And I get this question a lot, so I'm just going to say it right here. I am in talks with Justine about getting a Sunday preaching service here, so that's coming up, okay? But today I'm co-leading service with Reverend Craig Darling, Tony Bianca, Tomas Acosta, and Xochi Ramos. If you are visiting, I want to extend a special welcome. We invite you to fill out a visitor card in your order of service and return it to the welcome table. If you are joining us online, you can also fill out a visitor card at the link in the live stream page or in the YouTube service description. We would love to connect with you. If you have been coming for a while and are starting to feel like this is your spiritual home, consider becoming a member of this beloved community. You can learn more about becoming a member at the welcome table or by contacting Valeria Aguilar, our membership coordinator. And now we're going to do the call and response part. So I understand this is the second week that this is happening. This is my first week doing it. Okay. Welcome to this space. Bring all of who you are and all the beauty of languages, cultures, and skin tones that come together in your uniqueness. In all the ways you experience and express gender. In the beauty that is who you love and how you love. In all the ways you live, move, and experience your embodied self. With all of the religious and ethical traditions that inform your spiritual life. Join us as we live into our shared values with love at the center. We're so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here.
I invite you to stand in body or spirit to sing our church hymn. From all who dwell below the skies, let faith and hope with love arise. And beauty, truth, and good be sung through every land, every tongue. De todos bajo el gran sol, surca esperanza, fe y amor, verdad y belleza cantando de cada tierra, cada voz.
May love be the spirit of this church. May the quest for truth be its sacrament and service be its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, and to help one another in fellowship. This is our aspiration. Que el amor sea la doctrina de esta iglesia, la búsqueda de la verdad su sacramento y el servicio su oración. Vivan juntos en paz, buscar la verdad con libertad y ayudarnos mutuamente en comunidad. A eso aspiramos.
Good morning, friends. I'd like to invite all the children or youth who'd like to come up and join me for the time for all ages. Oh, good morning. Good morning. Come on over. Hi. Good morning. So friends, this morning, our service is called Protecting Kindness in a Toxic World. And that sort of means that we need to have a special place. We need to protect being kind to each other, even when the world is upsetting or scary or even maybe a little unhealthy for us. And that can be challenging sometimes, I think, really for everybody, but especially for younger people who might not know like what they can do when a lot of big things seem to be happening in the world. And so this story is about just that, like how some younger people in the family respond to what's going on when the parents and adults around them feel like they're a little overwhelmed. It's called The Breaking News. And I want to thank Wayne Saval for sending us this book. When politics happened the way it did this year, Wayne realized that maybe he wanted to do something for the church and found a few children's books and sent them to me, and this is one of the books he sent. So this is the breaking news. I remember when we heard the bad news, when you can see from their faces that maybe the parents are a little upset, they've even knocked the plant over. Let's see what happens. Suddenly, Mom is glued to the television. Dad can't stop checking his phone. They whisper, and I pretend not to hear. It is more than a little scary. Mom forgets to tuck me in. Dad is too tired for bedtime stories. It seems like everyone else feels it too. At school, my teacher says to look for the helpers. Even when the news is bad, you can still find good people trying to make things better in big and small ways. I want to help in a big way. I decide to put on the funniest show ever to make everyone laugh again. But the grown-ups don't feel like laughing. I tell them about the force fields I'll invent to keep us all safe, but their smiles are tiny and sad. I try to be on my best behavior all the time, to be so good, but they hardly even notice. Did you take a look at that picture? Does it look like maybe it's easy to be on her best behavior all the time? Does that look like a face that's having a good time? It doesn't look like it to me. It looks like it's kind of stressful to be on your best behavior all the time. I think maybe there's nothing I can do to help in a big way. I feel small. So maybe I can try to do just one, and maybe another, and another, and one more. Small things don't solve everything. The bad news is still there, after all. But then again, so are we. The end. So, thanks. And thanks again to Wayne. So I hope today, friends, we can do some small things just to help out, or even just some little things to brighten up the day for other people, and just be kind, even if the world is not being kind. And I'm so glad you are here with me. And I wonder if you'll help me up here. We're going to stand up, and we're going to lead the congregation in our affirmation. We'll say it first in English and then in Spanish. You ready? We are Unitarian Universalists, a people of open minds, loving hearts, and welcoming hands. Somos unitarios universalistas, personas de mentes abiertas, corazones amorosos y manos que dan la bienvenida. And now I invite all the children or youth who'd like to join me and their other leaders out on the patio, and we'll head to our religious education groups.
I love the outfit. We have a few announcements today. Lay ministers are available after the service to offer a listening presence. If you have a joy or sorrow you would like to share, this morning's lay minister is Chris Smith. They wear a colorful scarf. Thank you, Chris. Yeah. If you would like to learn more about us and see some of the many gems of our campus, I encourage you to take a campus tour after the service today. Liz Jones will meet with you right there after the postlude and be an expert guide. I heard the tour is quite interesting. Liz has a lot of knowledge of our campus to offer for that. And a thank you to the 161 folks who responded to the Our Sustainable Future survey last month. The OSF team has compiled the results, and they are available today on the OSF pages of our website. I invite you to take a look after the service. For our offering today, one way we live our values is by sharing our offering each week with the local organization working for justice. This morning, our offering is being shared with the U.S.-Mexico Border Program of the American Friends Service Committee. AFSC, for short, is the Quaker organization that brings together people of all faiths to challenge injustice and build peace around the world. Their U.S.-Mexico border program was established here in San Diego in 1977 to address border issues through community-based campaigns. Through training, advocacy, and coalition building, they work to secure just immigration policies and protect human rights. You can give through text at 619-333-3040. Enter that number in your text and type give and press send. Then follow the prompts. You will need to fill out your card information, your name, email, and physical address the first time only. And then you can create a new contact called Text to Give, and it will be in your phone for future gifts. The next time you want to give with your phone, you just pull up your contacts and enter give, then follow the prompts, and it's quicker and easier. You can also donate this morning in person through cash and check towards the back of the sanctuary or online at our church's website, firstusandiego.org. Thank you for your generosity. This morning offering will now be gratefully received.
Before I do the reflection this morning, I have a couple of things I want to say. First of all, this is my dear friend Jim Grant. Many of you remember Jim. He was such a dear friend. I certainly would love to be having a conversation with him these days. And I miss him greatly. And I'm so grateful that his family gave me his stole. And it means a lot to me. And every time I use it, I carry Jim's spirit with me. And I know many of you do as well. Such an amazing gift and friend he was. And the other thing I wanted to say that didn't get highlighted as much as I would prefer, and that is that Paul has been with us for 25 years. And John and I, most of the time, are with you online in our home in Washington, so I always love watching Paul while the sermon is being preached or the words are being said. It's just such a gift, and I want Paul to know that several of us have not forgotten the 25th anniversary time because we're still in the process of planning a special celebration to thank Paul. So we'll be looking forward to that. Besides that, I've never seen anybody with more wonderful glasses. I look forward to each week to see what it is. So, the Toltecs were a pre-Columbian Mesoamerican civilization that dominated central Mexico from the 10th to the 12th centuries. The Toltec people modeled a deep understanding of how to live well through values of personal honesty, awareness, and freedom from self-created suffering. Today, we're thinking about their wisdom, especially as it is shared in the book by Don Miguel Ruiz called The Four Agreements. I know some of you have read that book. You'll find an overview of it in your bulletin today you can take home. And there are 3 books on the back there by the booth. And I thought that we checked out books. This is my ignorance. I didn't know we don't check out books in our library anymore. So the 3 books are back there, and the first 3 people that go back there after church and want to take the book home to read it, go for it, and then bring it back when you're done and put it back there for other people to take. And over the next few weeks, you'll see it return when someone has finished that very easy book to read. It's only about an hour's worth of reading, but it's really worth it. These agreements are simple, yet powerful. Be impeccable with your word. Be impeccable with your word. Speak honestly with kindness. Don't take things personally. Don't take things personally. Remember, others' actions often reflect their own world, not yours. Don't make assumptions. Don't make assumptions. Ask questions. Seek clarity. Always do your best. Always do your best. Offer your heart and effort in all you do. Well, these ideas are familiar to us because they echo our Unitarian Universalist values. We believe in the inherent worth and dignity of every person. The Toltecs remind us that our words matter and how we speak shapes our community. We strive for justice and compassion. They teach us to see beyond our own perspectives and to understand others. We value open minds and seeking truth. The Toltecs warn us against the trap of assumptions. And we are called to live with purpose. They encourage us to give our best, always. And now, before Isaac comes and shares a prayer with us, let's prepare through a few minutes of stillness and silence to breathe in these ideas, these 4 agreements, feeling how they connect us and how they call us to live with more awareness, with kindness, and more love.
So I labeled this as a prayer in our order of service, but it's really a lament. And laments are a little bit different. This is from Reverend Derek Jackson. And I wanted to share that Reverend Derek wrote this after the 2016 election. And they reshared it recently, and I felt how true those words ring again. So I wanted to make sure I bring them to you all and share them. So this is called Lament for America. Great Spirit of this nation, rageful goddess, despairing God, hear our cry. Our world has been torn upside down. The hateful and divisive rhetoric of racism, misogyny, and xenophobia have won the day. Fear flows through streets and fields. What was hidden has now been revealed, and it is ugly. Holy One, our faith has been shaken. Where is justice? Where is goodness? Have we been forsaken? All we have left is a tenuous hold on hope. Hope that we can still shift this turning tide. Hope that others will step forward to help. Hope that this backward movement can still propel us forward. As the fall heads into the winter, we pray that it does not last 4 years until spring comes again. But if it must, we will persevere. We will make change in every way we can, raising up the principles of justice, equity, and compassion in the United States of America. Change has happened before and can happen again. It must happen again. This is our country, no matter our race, ethnicity, religion, gender, sexual orientation, ability, or class. We are called forward into this trial, and that which calls us will see us through. May our grief propel us. May our anger be righteous. May our love sustain us. Blessed be.
Hi again. So this next song is something I just wrote a couple of weeks ago maybe, and we were talking about what do we sing, and we were like, what's the topic? And we're like, okay, that's a very specific topic. I think I have something for this, so yeah. It's a lullaby. Duerme, niño, duerme. Ignora el ruido de los bullicios de la ciudad. Cierra, niño, cierra esos ojitos. Manda las penas a otro lugar. Sueña que hay un paraíso para ti. Sueña y de paso llévame ahí. Diles que vienes de un mundo de guerras, que no quieres estar ahí. Vela, niño, vela por nuestros sueños, causa del duelo del corazón. Sueña, niño, sueña con nuevos sueños, quizás y luego se cumplirán. que muy bien te cuidarán. Vivimos en tus añoros, por si nos quieres buscar. Sueña que hay un paraíso para ti. Sueña y de paso quédate ahí. Diles que vienes de un mundo de guerras, que no quieres estar ahí. Diles que vienes de un mundo de guerras, que no quieres estar ahí.
Oh, we can go home now. Thank you so much. Well, my friend Mike is a Jesuit priest in Chicago, and he insists that the confessional booth is a good thing, that it actually heals and helps folks. And we've had quite a few theological conversations about that. But I've learned that he's right, that confession really does matter. So you're going to be hearing my confession today. I have some true confession to offer, because I've been struggling with something deeply personal. So here's the background. My spiritual roots lie in a silent worship tradition, a little country church in central Michigan, where we gathered each week at the meeting house for an hour and a half to sit in silent meditation with each other, a shared stillness that nurtured an inner peace and harmony within me. This practice instilled a profound sense of connection, meaning, and contentment, a relationship with something larger than myself. So from as early as I can remember, I was taught stillness to be a natural part of every day, a core life value that was modeled by our little church. Stillness and silent meditation was on a par with brushing your teeth and sleeping and eating. It was a part of every day. So as you can imagine, the absence of that quietude for me creates a sense of unease. Well, my family moved away from that little country church and rejoined a larger congregation in the big town, and I used to call it the noisy church, where words were filled with spaces and silence was fleeting, hardly ever heard it. Oh, the youth group was great. I loved it. I got really involved, but I lost touch with that precious practice of soulful healing meditation. And that, combined with the whirlwind of adolescence all the way through seminary, further distanced me from the silence. So years later, I met the love of my life, my husband, John Darling, a quiet and wise Buddhist. His example rekindled my own sense of connection and the healing power of stillness. So for nearly 23 years now, we've maintained what we call our meditation list, and it's filled with names of individuals we're holding concern for. And some of you have been on that list over the years. In fact, quite a few of our members are on that list right now as they deal with illness and seasons of grief. Every morning, we bring each person's name on that list to mind, and we envision well-being and light swirling around them. It's our way of praying because we believe prayer is empty unless we actively cultivate an image of wholeness and then send out loving energy. So this practice has become my personal path back to that daily meditative space that I loved so much as a child. However, here's the confession. In recent months, I found myself struggling to access that familiar meditative space for my own soul's nourishment. My mind races, flitting from feelings of anxiety and sadness and even anger. In short, meditation eluded me. So I've been asking myself, why? Why this struggle to reconnect with a practice that once came so naturally and framed each day with positivity? Well, I've concluded that the challenges of 2025 living in the good old US of A, is a root cause. Acknowledging that external intrusion and it helped me to understand and offered a little bit of clue here and there. So now I'm continuing to sit in quiet meditation, but some days I still find peace fractured by the clamor of the world outside, the tsunami of chaos all around us. I strive for serenity in those daily meditations, yet the toxic mood of our nation, the constant barrage of negativity and division has been seeping into my unconscious. Previously unbeknownst to me, this insidious influence distorted my perceptions, clouded my judgment. I began to erroneously assume things about my neighbors that weren't true, about those that I encountered on a daily basis. Where once I saw potential for connection, sadly, I was morphing towards suspicion. Where once I offered compassion, I was beginning to harbor resentment. This poison of unkindness, born of the world's anxieties, was contaminating my heart and blinding me to the inherent goodness in others. And beyond my own recent experience, I've noticed and have heard from several of you that we're collectively feeling a shift away from our deeply held values and principles as it relates to our interactions with each other here at the church. My friends, we must be vigilant against this subtle intrusion and redouble our efforts to cultivate love and understanding in the face of such pervasive negativity. The increasingly divisive atmosphere in our country is so troubling, especially as it seeps into even the most well-intentioned communities, those like ours founded on values of compassion, peace, justice, and joy. Lately, many of us are observing subtle, often unconscious acts of unkindness and separateness among people we love. Observations that, if we're honest, we are seeing in ourselves as well. For those of us seeking solace and guidance in such spaces as this beautiful community, these echoes of our broader toxic culture are deeply disturbing. They disrupt our search for spiritual well-being and contribute to a sense of communal unease. Are we being unconsciously infected by the ugliness all around us? My grandma would be saying, "Watch out for the devil, he's cunning, you know." She had lots of one-liners. This is deeply concerning and wildly felt. And because these acts are so often subtle and unconscious, it becomes harder to address. Raising consciousness is key right now, my friends. We pride ourselves on values, wonderful values of justice, equity, compassion, and the inherent worth and dignity of every person. We strive to create a space of welcome and belonging where all voices are heard and respected. But lately, a disquieting dissonance has emerged. We hear echoes of the divisive rhetoric that plagues our nation seeping into our conversations, our interactions. We witness subtle acts of unkindness, assumptions made, judgments whispered. These aren't grand pronouncements of hate, but rather the quiet erosion of empathy, the subtle othering of those whose perspectives differ from our own. A raised eyebrow, a dismissive tone, a joke that lands with a thud. These seemingly small things can accumulate, creating a chill in the air, a sense of separation in what should be a sanctuary for all of us and for all of our neighbors as well. Those neighbors, by the way, are watching us. This isn't about pointing fingers or assigning blame. It's about acknowledging a shared struggle. We are all, to some degree, products of the culture we inhabit. We're bombarded daily with messages of division, fear, and distrust. It's easy, unconsciously, to absorb these messages and let them influence our interactions. Though we may not intend to be hurtful, but our words and actions can still have a profound impact. The challenge before us is not to pretend these whispers don't exist, but rather to confront them with courage and compassion. How do we cultivate a self-awareness to recognize our own biases and prejudices? How do we cultivate the self-awareness to recognize our own biases and prejudices? How do we foster the empathy to truly listen to and understand perspectives that differ from our own? How do we foster the empathy to truly listen to and understand perspectives that differ from our own? How do we create a culture of accountability where we can gently call each other in when we stumble rather than resorting to judgment or condemnation? This is not easy work. It requires vulnerability, humility, and a willingness to examine our own complicity. It requires us to move beyond simply tolerating differences to actively celebrating them. Oh, I really like that one. I mean, it requires us to move beyond simply tolerating differences to actively celebrating them, because our complex differences working together in harmony always brings about a more perfect result. It requires us to remember that we are all interconnected, that our shared humanity transcends our personal preferences. We are a community founded on the principles of reason and inquiry. But reason without compassion is a barren landscape. Free inquiry without respect to diverse perspectives becomes a battleground. We see that all around us in the news every day. We must strive to balance these values with a deep and abiding commitment to love. Love and patience with each other. Well, speaking of love and patience with each other, I think of our Sustainable Future team. Over these past few months, I've had the blessing of serving on that team and witnessing a true microcosm of our congregation within the group. Like our wider community, they bring diverse talents, experiences, and yes, perspectives, and yet they embody the very antidote to disharmony. They model a beloved community working toward a future that embraces, not excludes. And by the way, at this point, our team has no idea what is the answer to a recommendation for the congregation to vote on regarding this campus and our future plans, because we have so much more work and discovery to do before any recommendation could make sense or become clear. The team's loyalty is to the process, to the whole group. And it's in that process, in the face of mounting pressure and the complexity of our future, that I've seen something truly remarkable. They listen with open hearts, they extend patience, and they honor each other's diverse visions. This, my friends, has been a profound gift to me. As I mentioned earlier, I realized that I'd been allowing the negativity of our broader culture to seep into my own thoughts and interactions, but the team's example reminded me that we have a choice. We can choose kindness. We can choose to listen. We can choose to build that beloved community. They have helped me rediscover the path to love, focused meditation, and hope. In a world that often feels divisive, they are a beacon of unity and compassion, and I want to thank my friends of the Our Sustainable Future team for showing us how to protect kindness in a toxic world, and in the process, lifting all of us up. My friends, let us commit to creating spaces throughout our church where other difficult conversations can happen as well, where disagreements are handled with respect, and where the focus is on understanding rather than winning. Let us practice active listening, not just hearing others quietly, but waiting for our turn to talk. Don't wait just for your own turn to talk, but truly hear what others are saying. Let us cultivate a spirit of generosity, assuming the best of intentions, especially when we're not on the same page about any given issue. Let us remember why we gather here. We come seeking connection, meaning, and purpose. We come to be part of a community that nourishes our souls and inspires us to live more just and compassionate lives. Let us not allow the whispers of division to drown out our voices of love and understanding. Let us instead amplify those voices, creating a symphony of unity and belonging that resonates within and without these walls. These are hard times. Oh, dear God. These are really hard times. Our neighbors need us. We need each other. And I'm going to keep looking around at all of you to foster in myself a sense of spiritual well-being and calm to access my path through this mess of a nation in which we're captives. Because seriously, I don't think I could make it through these dark days if it wasn't the ability to count on this community for direction, for love, inspiration, and exquisite joy. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. I hope you'll join me in looking around at each other, really, really looking around at each other in love, for love, because of love. May it be so.
Please rise and body your spirit for our closing hymn, Standing on the Side of Love. Answering the call of love. The promise of the Spirit, faith, hope, and love of God. Soul is blessed and made whole. The truth in our hearts is to God. We are answering the call of love. Hands still together as hearts beat as one. By faith we dare to proclaim. We are answering the call of love. Sometimes we build a barrier to keep what tightly bound. Corrupted by fear, unwilling to hear, denying the beauty we found. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim. We are answering the call of love. A bright new day is coming, when love will not divide. Reflections of grace in every embrace, fulfilling the vision divine. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim. We are answering the call of love. We are answering the call of love.
May we leave here today with a renewed sense of commitment to creating the beloved community we so deeply desire. May we be mindful of our words and actions, choosing compassion over judgment, connection over division, and may we carry this light of this chalice with us, illuminating the path toward a more just, equitable, and loving world. May it be so.